Hi, my name is Min. I'm a first-year student in the computer programming and analysis program. I was born and raised in Toronto, and I'm on the badminton team. I had a really great childhood growing up, right? I met a lot of really great people from all different backgrounds, right? I went to a lot of different schools and made a lot of friends there. Honestly, I wouldn't want to go up anywhere else. It was a great childhood, and I'm happy to still be here. Growing up, a lot of my goals were more academic-based, right? I wasn't a natural athlete at all. I had to train a lot to get where I am now. And so a lot of my goals were just like, academic, job-based, right? A lot of what my parents kind of instilled on me. So obviously in school, it was kind of like, get straight A's, and then after athletics came second. But then as I got into university, right, athletics became more of a priority for me, right? And I started doing a lot more other sports as well, on top of academics, of course. My dad, for sure, because he missed out on a lot of what I have right now, right? He didn't have much of a young adulthood, so I'm very lucky to have what I have now, and I'm grateful for him, and my mom as well, right? Both my parents, but definitely my dad. Although I don't think I've ever told him, specifically, but for sure. Yeah, definitely. I've been some obstacles in terms of performance plateaus. Like with badminton, like I will accelerate in my training and my play, but then after I end up plateauing, which can get very frustrating, and I think a lot of athletes can relate to that. Obviously, injuries as well. Like badminton, you can get a lot of injuries with your ankles and your knees. Even though it's a non-contact sport, it is quite high intensity, and it is quite jarring on your joints sometimes. So there have been a few injuries, and also just like certain not meeting expectations or being cut from teams. I've gone through a lot of that as well, right? I was cut from UT my first year, and so that was a big reality check for me. And I had to kind of adjust my training program. And yeah, if I were to give my younger self some more advice, definitely take physical activity and physical fitness as an important part of your life, right? Obviously, academia and academics is one thing, but taking care of yourself physically and also mentally is really important for your well-being, right? And it sets you up for success in the future if you're like physically fit. Yeah, I have, yeah. Obviously, like with badminton, as I was getting older, I was coaching younger kids at my club, and so I did that for like a few years, maybe 4 or 5 years at a local junior badminton club. But one of my most memorable volunteer experiences was when I volunteered at the Toronto Distress Center, which is essentially like at the very highest level of suicide hotline, right? A lot of the times we spoke to people who were just isolated, like lonely, or actually going through, crisis at the time. And so that was a very life-changing kind of year for me. It was definitely emotionally draining at times, but it was rewarding after every single shift that I did, right? And I met a lot of great people there as well. And it just shows that like Toronto does care, and there are support systems for those with mental health issues, right? And someone they get to talk to. It was definitely a very big change because my high school wasn't too big on badminton, right? And so going from like the best player on that team and MVP and all that stuff, and then going to probably not even making the team or bottom of the team on a varsity team was a huge reality check for me. It really put things into perspective, right? And it showed that like, stay humble, work hard, right? And push yourself, and then that way you can achieve success. Yeah. Yeah, so definitely the first thing you want to teach them is how to hold a racket because that's how, that's one of the basic things. But it's actually a lot of like footwork and conditioning. So a lot of people think that badminton is just like hitting the shuttle over the net, right? But in order to do that, you have to get there in the first place. And how do you do that? You have to use your feet and your legs, right? And move in a very smooth and cohesive manner. And so that's one of the things we teach kids, right? It's just how to move on the court, right? And once we do that, then we do the basic shots, right? Your clear, your net shots, your drop shots, right? And then we just build up their arsenal of tactics and techniques from there, right? So badminton is definitely a sport where I would say it's easy to learn, really hard to master. It's just really time management, right? Having great time management is a skill they may not teach you in school, but it's something you can always learn, right? Obviously, like you do want to keep in touch with your friends and your family because they are a really big support system for you, right? And you want to find stuff that you actually enjoy because when you do that, right, you want to commit your time to it, and then you realize, oh, I'm committing all this time, now I have to do other things, right? So yeah, definitely time management and doing something you enjoy.